Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our 2013 April Fool's mock draft. Now, I've traveled across the country, even into Canada, to try to find the right players to put in this list. So let's get this video kicked off with the number one overall selection, the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs had a few needs coming into the draft, but you look at what they were able to do in free agency. They signed Alex Smith, so there's no need for a quarterback. They signed Sean Smith, so there's no need for a cornerback. And they also re-signed Brandon Albert, so their left tackle position is now solved. So they can really take the best player available.
And that's why Brittany Griner makes so much sense. Number one, she's 6'8", she can dunk a basketball, and she's instantly an upgrade at their slot receiver position.
The Jacksonville Jaguars select quarterback Geno Smith, West Virginia.
Wait, so you telling me Jacksonville need help at quarterback? But I thought
Gabbert has long-term starter potential.
But they said.
For me, Blaine Gabbert is the number one quarterback on my board. He is a franchise quarterback.
And Blaine Gabbert down in Jacksonville, these young kids, as far as I'm concerned, are far ahead of Newton as far as being an NFL quarterback.
The difference for me between Blaine Gabbert and Cam Newton is that Gabbert has better than 900 throws on his resume at Missouri. That's a lot to draw from to see if indeed those abilities can translate into the NFL compared to Cam Newton, who only had 284 throws in a single season.
But that pro day.
You know what? He had a good workout, and he really showed his athleticism on the boots. I was very impressed.
The Oakland Raiders select Catherine Webb.
We just got to be able to watch Oakland's offense. And let's be honest, it was unbearable last season to watch. And if Catherine Webb can get people to tune into Splash, which by far is the worst concept for a TV show ever, then she can get people to watch Oakland's offense. And let's not forget, man, let's not kid ourselves. She got people to care about A.J. McCarron, because quiet is kept. I thought Brody Coral was a quarterback last year.
The Eagles select Phil Knight, CEO of Nike.
And I bet you thought the only thing that Chip Kelly was bringing to Philadelphia was his offense. No, sir. Everything comes.
Quite honestly, it doesn't matter who the Lions take. They could take the greatest receiver of all time. They could even take Muhammad Ali. But Matt Stafford will find some way, somehow, to force football to Calvin Johnson.
The Browns select closing specialist Mariano Rivera.
Let's be honest. The Browns weren't that bad last season. They just had a problem with closing games out in the fourth quarter. That's why Mariano Rivera makes so much sense here for the Browns. One, you look at Brandon Weeden and Mariano Rivera being the same age, so there's that chemistry right there. They've grown up together. Their kids are in college. They have that natural chemistry. And also, you look at what Cleveland has to do to get better. Rivera fits perfectly. This is more of a need pick and not best player available. Great fit here for the Browns.
It's been a tough offseason for the Arizona Cardinals. They lose their franchise quarterback. They also lose their defensive coordinator, Ray Horton, to the Cleveland Browns. And some analysts and experts say there's a slight problem with their offensive line. That's why drafting a guy at left tackle makes a lot of sense right here. MC Hammer is the best left tackle on the board, has the footwork that's necessary to keep up with today's edge rushers and defensive ends that we see in the NFL.
The Bills select Law and Order SVU.
The Bills have to bring in Benson and Stabler and the SVU team to figure out what really happened with Ryan Fitzpatrick and that contract situation, because quite honestly, how was he able to get $24 million from the Buffalo Bills? And honestly, I almost gave these guys to the Kansas City Chiefs at number one, because the same thing can be said for Matt Castle and his $60 million.
The Jets select Brawny Paper Towels.
Words can't begin to describe the New York Jets 2012 season. I mean, they drafted Featherstone in the second round. You look at the season, fast forward to the offseason, they're probably going to cut their team chaplain. I mean, anytime you got to cut your team chaplain, you know you're doing bad. So they really need the brawny guy to come in and clean this mess up.
Luke Jokel, tackle, Texas A&M.
The Titans are trying to convince themselves that Jake Locker is their franchise quarterback. So let's take a look at what has happened since Locker took over for Vince Young. Number one, the Titans haven't been back to the playoffs. Two, Twinkies died. A Pope retired. Chris Johnson hates life. And opposing DBs have as many catches as the Titans wide receivers. And they also signed Ryan Fitzpatrick. But for some reason, people think that adding offensive linemen will alleviate the problem. So you know what? Let's just give them another offensive lineman as well. Chance Warmack out of Alabama. Excellent guard up front. The Chargers did such a great job snatching a basketball player in Antonio Gates, so why not get the best one on the board, Nerlens Noel, forward out of Kentucky.
The Dolphins select a revolving door at right tackle.
All right, so let me get this straight. Since Philbin got there last year, they've traded Brandon Marshall, they've cut Chad Johnson, they've traded Vontae Davis. This year they've let go Reggie Bush, and they also let go Jake Long. So all of their playmakers are gone, and they're moving Jonathan Martin, who was a turnstile at right tackle, they're moving him to left tackle to protect their franchise quarterback, the next Dan Marino, and check down Charlie Ryan Tannehill. So why not give them a revolving door so that way they can have two bookends to protect their franchise quarterback back there in the pocket? I think this is a great fit. This matches need with best player available. The revolving door at right tackle would complement the turnstile that's at left tackle.
Our Sabermetrics research department has come to the conclusion that the Bucs need help in the secondary, so you have to go to DB University, the University of Louisiana, home of the Raging Cajuns, and take one of the best cornerbacks in this year's draft, Melvin White, 6'2", 200 pounds. Well, it's good to hear that Panthers owner Jerry Richardson is not broke. I guess he had a great financial advisor. And while we're on the subject of Cam Newton, let's go back to the 2011 draft.
I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, my gut tells me he's going to be happy with millions and millions of dollars.
But I think there's a couple of things. First of all, in studying this guy in 4 games, I'm not a Cam Newton fan. If you like Vince Young, you like Tim Tebow, those are first rounders, then you're going to like Cam Newton. I wouldn't have taken either one of those guys in the first round. I wouldn't take this guy in the first round. I think he's a project. I think the vision issues are there. The instinct issues are there. I don't care if it's a spread offense. There's no comparison between Gabbert and him, and they're both in a spread offense as far as.
All jokes aside, the Panthers do need help on the defensive line. That's why Molly Flynn Biggs from Mike and Molly makes a lot of sense. Not because of her weight, because of her tenacity. It's great the Saints get Sean Payton back as their head coach because he has to make some changes. The following people in this room have to return on defense. They were dead last in every statistical category known to man, which is why I think David Amerson makes a lot of sense for the Saints. You get a guy that can do something that they wasn't able to do last year, catch interceptions. That's going to help bolster that secondary. The Rams need help at the safety position, and what better person to have as your last line of defense than a Navy SEAL sniper? The Steelers have to replace James Harrison with another crazy person at linebacker, so this guy fits the bill. Eric Samurai Hansen out of Texas State.
The Dallas Cowboys select Matlock.
This is why Matlock makes so much sense here for the Dallas Cowboys, because right now in the NFL, it's illegal to put a straitjacket on a quarterback that tosses costly interceptions and folds in the fourth quarter when you need him the most. So you have to work within your offense and find ways to be successful. Mariano Rivera is off the board. He went to Cleveland. So Matlock and what he brings to the table, you look at what he does very well. He'll take a case, no evidence, bring it to trial, and get you to admit to the crime all within 30 minutes. That's getting it done. That's efficiency. That's closing it in the fourth quarter.
The Giants absolutely love the draft process because they could just sit pat at their position, let other teams ahead of them screw up, and they come away with great football players. The Bears are moving on from longtime Bear great Brian Urlacher, so that's a huge hole at the middle linebacker position. That's why Jillian Michaels made so much sense right here. She is going to be the next in line of great Chicago Bear linebackers. The Bengals have to get explosiveness out of the backfield. They won't get to the Super Bowl with Ben Jarvis Green Ellis's 2.8 inches a carry. So that's why Ricky from Boys in the Hood is an explosive guy that can help take this offense to the next level. You see that move right there he made against Crenshaw High? I think this guy is going to fit perfectly in that offense for Cincinnati. Real pick alert right here. The Rams need explosiveness at the wide receiver position, and when you look at Kadero Patterson, he fits that to the T. You're not supposed to be that tall, that big, and that fast, and that agile, and moving like a running back. He's going to be a superstar at the next level. Why is Leslie Frazier smiling from ear to ear? Let's look at it. Number one, they realized they made the playoffs in spite of Christian Ponder. Number two, they realized they have RoboCop at running back. They also traded away a headache for an additional first-round pick and had the opportunity to use those 2 picks to trade up to get Geno Smith. They signed Greg Jennings, and this is a great draft for defense so they can reload the defensive side of the football and get back to the playoffs. So with that said, let's give them Manti Te'o. No, not that Manti Te'o, but this Manti Te'o, the one we know and love, the guy that made a lot of plays for Notre Dame and will help out that Vikings defense. According to Jim Irsay's tweets, the Colts need playmakers, which is why that kid from the commercial makes a lot of sense. And here's why.
The thing I can do is wave on your head and wave.
That's amazing.
You got to give Andrew Luck every ample opportunity to be successful. That's why you surround him with valuable weapons. Why isn't Leslie Frazier smiling this time? Let's analyze it. Number one, they realize that they are stuck with Christian Ponder because they immediately go out and sign Matt Castle, which also means that they are no longer in the running for Geno Smith. So that means they go out and draft another average quarterback that wears number 7. That way you have a 3-way competition for who is the most average quarterback in the league.
The Green Bay Packers select Nicki Minaj.
I don't know what it is about the Packers, man. I don't know if it's their color scheme, if it's their uniform, it's that G, or if it's the Lambeau Leap that blinds you. But everybody looks the same on their team. I mean, I just found out last week that George Kuntz no longer plays. Devastated. So I don't know if there's Morgan Burnett back there, or Ben Laden, or Casey Hayward, or Denzel Washington. Who knows who's back there? So they have to get a player that stands apart from everyone else and lets you know that they're there. And that's why Nicki Minaj makes so much sense. Because I don't know what she is or what she looks like, but it's completely different than what's already out there for Green Bay.
Houston Texans owner Bob McNair sent his private jet to go get Ed Reed, so now they have a safety that has tremendous ball skills and brings leadership, so they have to go with receiver, which is their next biggest need. So Norman White out of Villanova, I like this guy a lot. Keep an eye on him as a later round draft.
Javon Lawson, wide receiver, Louisiana.
What you don't understand is what Peyton wants, Peyton gets. If he wants you to drive a Buick, then damn it, you will drive a Buick. If Peyton wants you to have some hot, steamy, fresh Papa John's pizza, then damn it, you better order some Papa John's pizza. If he says cucumbers taste better pickled, then damn it, they taste better pickled. And if he wants a top flight receiver from the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns, then you better go and get Javon Lawson for Peyton Manning.
The Patriots are moving on without Wes Welker, but according to the media, you can only replace a white wide receiver with another white wide receiver. So what I have done is put together a list of the white wide receiver targets that are coming out in this year's draft. And according to the media, all of these guys compare to Wes Welker? Losing a guy the caliber of John Abraham and leaving this as the replacement is going to be tough for that Falcons defense to get pressure on the quarterback, which is why they have to go with Tone Jones. I like this guy a lot. He's going to be a stud at the next level. He can play in a 3-4 defense and a 4-3 defense, so he has that versatility and should help out that Falcons defensive front. After coming away with a great trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, the 49ers now have a bevy of selections. Now they have options. They can go with some more tattoos for Colin Kaepernick, but I think they go in the backfield and build that depth with the running back position with Sam Gordon. You look at what she brings to the table. She has the skills. She has the speed. She has the power. She's also about the same size as LaMichael James, so it fits perfectly with what they do offensively. I think she's going to be a great for the 49ers. It's tough when you lose your emotional leader in Ray Lewis and they're trying to fill that hole right away. They looked at the Pope, but he signed back with the Vatican, so I think they have to go with the next best option on the board. Jay Glazer, this guy does everything. He wears cool clothes. He has cool hand signals. He holds heavy phones. He squeezes into tight shirts, and I think this is a great fit for the Baltimore Ravens. Let's see if Leslie Frazier agrees with this selection. Now let's move into the second round here. The Redskins have to do a better job of protecting RG3, who was injured at FedEx Field during a playoff game last year versus Seattle. And instead of just improving the field, which would be the logical thing to do, Mike Shanahan and company says they have to do a better job of protecting him up front. So I think overprotective mom will come in and do a great job at left tackle, giving him the time that he needs in the pocket, making sure he doesn't get injured. I think that's going to help prolong his career and make him one of the all-time greats in Redskins history. You know why Pete Carroll is happy? Because he got a steal last year in Russell Wilson in the third round, and he got a steal this year by taking yours truly in the second round. Why am I a steal for the Seattle Seahawks? Let's go back to May 16th, 2012.
Adding those players throughout the 7 rounds of this draft. Now, what I like most about the Seahawks draft, getting Bruce Irvin out of West Virginia. Guys want to question whether or not it's his size, whether or not he's big enough. All I saw him do at West Virginia is live in the backfield, get off the ball with great ball get off, always made game-changing plays for the Mountaineers, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with for that Seahawks defense, that already tough and stout Seahawks defense. You add a threat as far as rushing the passer is concerned, and your defense goes from good to great. Also adding a linebacker in Bobby Wagner, one of the true leaders at the position. He's going to come in and compete with Barrett Ruud, the incumbent at middle linebacker. Either way it goes, the Seahawks won't miss a beat. This guy is, again, a tremendous leader, always made tackles, always made game-changing plays, and doesn't accept third as far as the number 2 quarterback in his draft. But I can care less about his size. I can care less about how tall he is. All this guy does is win. All he does is complete passes. All he does is put teams that he's on in position to win. Led Wisconsin to a Big Ten title, and he will start for the Seattle Seahawks from day one. He's already better than Matt Flynn and Tavares Jackson. Let's not kid ourselves. Russell Wilson is the Seahawks quarterback of the future, and they got a steal, a huge steal, in the 3rd round.
You guys like how I slid that in there, didn't you? I know you did. I know it was good. But my real mock draft for April, my final mock draft, will come out April 15th. So stay tuned to footballgameplan.com and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/footballgameplan for those updates. So I hope you enjoyed our April Fool's mock draft. Please share, follow, subscribe, and continue to support Football Game Plan.